Take the IELTS test.
Of course not. Take the TOEFL.
Confused?
Confused?
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
Hi, I am Basudha and I took the IELTS exam in February last year.
And hi, I am Atharva and I have taken the TOEFL. So now that we have introduced each other, let's dive right in and understand IELTS versus TOEFL. So
What is the IELTS test? Now, the IELTS is an examination to test your proficiency in English. The International English Language Testing System, or IELTS, is designed to help us work, study, or move to a country where English is the native language, such as the United States, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, and so on. The list just goes on. So IELTS is jointly owned by the British Council and IDP, which is the IELTS Australia and Cambridge Assessment English. So I guess that's all about the IELTS.
awesome. And coming to TOEFL, the full form of TOEFL is Test of English as a Foreign Language. So it's a standardized test to measure your English language ability, similar to IELTS, but here you are judged based on 4 different criteria: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And TOEFL is taken by an American association for testing, which is called as ETS, and the scores for TOEFL are valid for 2 years. So moving on, let's look at the different types within these exams.
Okay. Coming to the types of the IELTS examination include the academic IELTS test and the general training IELTS test. If one intends to pursue education in the English-speaking countries as mentioned, then one should write the academic IELTS test. And in case one is interested in shifting as a working professional, then the general IELTS test is recommended. Both these tests are valid for 2 years.
Okay, right. Now coming to the TOEFL, TOEFL is mainly of 2 types, the PBT and the IBT. So PBT is the TOEFL paper based test, and the IBT is the TOEFL internet based test. So the PBT, which is the paper based testing, is done at a physical location where internet is generally not available in those areas. Whereas the IBT can be taken via 2 options. One is at their testing center in online mode, or the second due to COVID from your home in online mode. So the IBT exam is a total of 3 hours, and we'll come to that in a few minutes. So cool.
So coming to the number of attempts, so you can take the IELTS as many times as you want unless you're satisfied with your score. Also, since every time you are assigned a new TRF number, you do not have to worry about the latest score being lower and overriding the previous score. You can use scores of any of your attempts with the respective TRF numbers. Now, definitely you have to pay the fees every time you take the exam. So we'll come to the cost at a later stage in this video.
Cool, amazing. Similarly for TOEFL, the attempts are unlimited, but between 2 attempts you need to maintain a 3 days gap here. And as Basudha said, similar here for TOEFL, you need to pay the fee every time. So I mean, although you can attempt unlimited number of times, due to a financial constraint, you need to plan things properly. So
Right. Now, where can you take these tests? So the IELTS has over 1,200 test centers in more than 140 countries and territories. In India, IELTS has 77 centers spread out all over the country. You can pick the most convenient center and take the test peacefully.
awesome. And coming to TOEFL, TOEFL has 4,300 centers in 160 plus countries, and as I said, there are many options, and if you want to take it from home, as I personally did, that's the most convenient option for me, so that you don't have lots of disturbance, you don't have a worry of traveling, etc. But yeah, options equally there, a lot of options, so don't need to worry.
Right. Now, coming to the cost of taking these exams. Now, the IELTS exam, the cost of one test is around rupees 15,500. It's the same for both computer-based and pen and paper-based tests in India. Now, while sending the scores, you are allowed to send it to 5 universities free of cost, after which it costs rupees 250 to send it to universities electronically. All universities want or prefer electronic IELTS scores, except maybe very few. One example of a university which does not accept electronic IELTS score would be the McKelvey School of Engineering in the Washington University at St. Louis. Only the engineering school of this university does not accept electronic scores. All the other schools of this university, say the School of Medicine and the School of Sciences and so on, all of them insist on electronic scores. But in case you have to send the scores by post, which to iterate is very rare, then it will cost you rupees 1500.
Okay, awesome. And now coming to the TOEFL, TOEFL costs you around 14,000 rupees, which is around 180 USD. And compared to the IELTS, here you can only send up to 4 complimentary or 4 free score reports along with your testing fee. And after that, each and every report that you send electronically costs you around $20, which is 1500 rupees per application that you send. So yeah, these are, I think, the comparison of the cost structures between the two exams. And now for the most awaited part, let's look at the test structure itself.
So, talking about the test structure and duration of the IELTS test, irrespective of the test type, that is academic or general training, all test takers take the same listening and speaking tests for different reading and writing tests. The listening, reading, and writing sections of the test are completed on one particular day without any breaks in between. The speaking section is, however, completed up to a week before or after the other tests. So the total time is roughly 2 hours 45 minutes, 30 minutes for listening, 60 minutes for reading, 60 minutes for writing, and around 11 to 14 minutes for speaking.
I see. Okay. And now coming to the TOEFL exam, so I'll discuss specifically for the IBT, which is the internet based test, because it's the most popular version. The test takes a total of 3 hours plus and half an hour for the check-in process, so it's around a 3.5 hour total test journey for you guys. And now let's see the time breakup within this. So first it begins with the reading section, which is around 54 to 72 minutes. It has 30 to 40 questions. And what you need to do in this section is read different passages and respond to the questions accordingly. The next section which comes is the listening section. So that takes around 41 to 57 minutes. It has around 28 to 39 questions. And here what you do is you listen to a audio passage and then you answer the questions accordingly. After these two sections, you have a 10-minute break wherein you can use the washroom if the particular invigilator is kind enough, and you can have quick snacks, and you quickly need to come back and you begin with your speaking section for 17 minutes where you have 4 different tasks. So one is you need to talk about a familiar topic, and the second is you need to listen to audio, and based on that you have to kind of put across your opinion in the verbal manner. And last is the writing section, which is 50 minutes, so it's a bit long compared to the other sections. There will be 2 tasks similar to your GRE AWA, but shorter passages to write. And yeah, here as I said, one is you read a passage and write your opinion. Second, you listen to audio and write your opinion. So yeah, this is the TOEFL test structure for you. Many of you must be wondering that, hey, okay, I understood about both these exams, but as a beginner, how much time do I require for preparing? So let's see that.
IELTS is not a difficult test at all. Take 2 to 3 weeks to prepare yourself and practice the sample questions, keeping track of time. In case you feel that you need some practice for the speaking section, ask a friend or a sibling or anyone to just ask you the questions and answer them the way you would in the actual test in front of an examiner. It is a huge confidence booster, trust me. I used to practice with my roommate as we were in the hostel back then, and it kind of eased my tension. In case you feel that you are weak in a particular section, give it more time and bring it up to pace. But at the same time, if you're strong at something, then please devote time to that too, as it will boost your overall band score if you do exceptionally well in one section.
Awesome, rightly said. And now coming to the TOEFL exam, it usually people like prepare for from 1 month to up to 3 months or even more. And I did it along with the GRE, so this combo kind of helps you to prepare, because the TOEFL and the GRE overlap a lot in terms of their vocabulary and other skills. So I think I could finish the preparation in around a couple of weeks, I would say. Also in parallel with my studies. So as Vasudha said, similarly TOEFL is also not that difficult if you are I would say if you are good in English and you have been kind of exposed to it during your undergrad or even before that. And yeah, I would say refer to the ETS guides out there, official ETS guides for TOEFL. You have lots of practice tests. You need to practice speaking a lot, because that is the most important part which many of us kind of miss. And lastly, there is this resource called TST Prep. I will attach it in the description, which has amazing videos. If you just see that, I can guarantee you, you will achieve great scores for the TOEFL exam. So now that we have understood all the different aspects, now it comes to the big question which we started with: IELTS or TOEFL? So I think now, after our understanding of all the different aspects, I think let's see about the key takeaways of what we have seen.
So it's obviously a personal opinion, but what I feel personally is that both the IELTS and the TOEFL tests are equal. So it's just a proficiency test and you can take either. However, please ensure to check your university requirements for standardized tests. That will tell you if you're taking the right test and what band you should be getting to clear the cutoff for the program at that particular university. From a student's perspective, in case you are interested in the US, then of TOEFL or IELTS works in almost all universities except a few, probably like Stanford University only accepts TOEFL scores. I have not come across many other eminent universities in the US which do not accept IELTS scores, but make sure to check it out yourself. If you're interested in other countries like Canada, the UK, Australia, and so on, probably IELTS has a wider coverage. Most importantly, narrow down your universities and programs and check the standardized test requirements of the same.
So now that we have understood the decision of how to decide between TOEFL and IELTS, now it's time for me to share some tips with you guys based on both of our experiences giving the IELTS as well as the TOEFL exam. So the first tip will be, start your preparation in advance, because the people around you may tell you that, hey, both of these exams are super easy. If you know a little bit of English, you can ace it. But the point is, if you need a great score, which can help you to become, say, a research or a teaching assistant in your university, you need an excellent score. So for that, start preparation well in advance. Second, be confident in the speaking section. So I know it can be a bit overwhelming. You have the timer going on and you get scared, you can get fumbled up, but be confident in the speaking section, which is very important. Next is, give the exam in a calm and quiet place if you are giving it from home, because in the listening section you need to hear things well. Even if you miss a certain keyword, it will be difficult for you to answer particular questions. The fourth point will be, take good notes while preparing in the listening as well as the speaking section, because first you need to quickly make notes and then your answer is based on those particular points. And the last, which is a general point, is stay hydrated and stay stress free, because that's very important for you, and the energy which you have in the start should remain there throughout those 3 hours that you're giving the exam. So I hope this video was helpful for all of you guys to decide between the IELTS versus TOEFL, and I hope it gave you much more clarity. Do subscribe to my channel. We'll have more videos coming in on. Thank you, Basudha, for your time. It was really great to hear your side of the story of IELTS, and I hope this battle still continues between us of IELTS versus TOEFL. It's a serious
Sure.
battle. Yeah.
And all the best to all the
Yes.
test takers.
Yes, all the best. So thank you. Bye bye. Best of luck for your exams.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go.